limited English, right?
Mhm.
So I want to hear what's the issue about you and Scientology.
Oh, okay. What's a lot? Well, there's a lot of issues with Scientology in and of itself.
So you are trying, what you're doing is trying to against Scientology, right?
Yes, okay,
Against
and
them.
right, because well, I mean, besides being a human trafficking cult that abuses, separates families, abuses people, they don't consider children children, so it's very abusive. It's inherently abusive to children. So Scientology itself has its own issues, but here, I mean, what can they do about that? I mean, but what they're doing is that what they have a thing called safe pointing, which is what they do is like free. This has been going on for decades. They get into the local government, okay? And they either infiltrate by being on their boards, the commissions, in their departments, and so
Are
that
you
way they get
saying
everything that they
are you saying a certain member of the board of public works are
they could
Scientology?
be. We don't know,
Oh, you don't know. I thought you
right?
already confirmed
Oh
that.
no, I don't confirm it, but the fact that they won't, because what's going on? This is what's going on right
And now hold on.
now. Okay.
Sometimes you talking about a specific beauty. What's about
Yes.
that beauty? What's the story about that beauty?
Okay. It's called Big Blue, and it's where L. Ron Hubbard Way is the street that they want to claim as their own, but it's not. It's a public street, okay? And so they've been getting because they get event permit after event permit, like almost fraudulently to keep the street closed from the public, even though it's a public street that leads to a hospital.
Hold on. Are you talking about a street? Are you talking
Mhm.
about a
The
building?
street, well, both. It's combined. There's the building where they're located, okay? The one when I'm talking about having a crack, it has a crack from the bottom to the top. And then it's on L. Ron Hubbard Way. It's on the street that they keep getting events to close. You know how you can get a special event permit up to a week? Well, they've been getting one for a week after week after week with all these bogus events for 4 months. So they're closing a city street for 4 months. And so no one else would be able to get away with that. And then they're told by permit they have to have a 20-foot emergency lane. So in case there's an emergency vehicles can come through. But they're not doing that. They are blockading both ends, and like they've all been notified. No one's doing
Who
anything.
owns that building?
Huh?
Who owns that building?
Well, they own the building. Scientology owns the building, but not the street.
Oh, so
So they're
you own
closing the street week after week for 4 months. What other? Can you think of anywhere else that can close a street, not for construction, but just for event after event for 4 months straight? And then they try keeping the public out. So we finally fought them on that because the permit says that they can't get the public out. Because even the police were saying, no, you can't come through. So they were committing fraud and fraudulently enforcing this a bogus permit. I mean, the permit's real, but these conditions were bogus. And so they're all on behalf of Scientology. There's also a lot of emails kind of showing that they're working with Scientology, trying to get the closures and stuff. So that street's been closed for 4 months, not for construction, but just for event after event, it's bogus events. Hardly any of them had any people coming, but and no matter how much we've been complaining, they keep giving them new permits. So they have people inside, or they have something going on. There's some corruption going on.
So you are saying the board who is responsible for this is the public work?
Yeah, because you're over Bureau of Street Services. Because Street Services, that their permit division, is the one giving them the permit to close the street. And they're like they have enough space on their property because they have a huge parking lot. It's huge. They could have these events on their property, but they don't. They want to shut down the street, and because part of it's because of protesters. They don't want oh well, like if there's protests, you can't just take away somebody's right to protest because you don't want to be protested. But so they've been doing that, and the city's been complicit. They keep giving these permits, but then one of the conditions of the permit is that they must keep a 20-foot emergency lane so fire trucks, ambulances can get through. But they're not. They have both sides blockaded. And so, how can the fire department be signing off? How can they not do something? And I talked to, like they're just in public work. All of them, they're just for this is.
You went to fire commission there?
I didn't go to the fire commission yet. I want to do that, but I talked to the battalion chief of that area, and he says, okay, he's brand new, and he goes, I'm going to check it out, but nothing's been done. We've been going for 6 weeks now. And in 6 weeks, not one thing, they have not, and also they have all these planters all lined up, which are not ADA. I didn't bring that up here too much because it's not really a safety issue, but they have all these planters, which, like other places had to remove their planters because it's to get rid of any kind of encampment. and the city forced them to get rid of their planners, but they're not making them get rid of theirs. And they're ADA, not, they're not where you can't, you have to have enough space for ramps to get on and off. They're not obeying that. And no matter for 6 weeks, we've been bringing it to their attention, and they're not doing anything. Like so, they don't. They're willing to.
Have you been to any board?
Yes, I go every Tuesday to that, except for today because they canceled it. But not in person though. I do it on Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you hear me, you'll hear Audit LA. If you, 'cause I've heard you there. Like I know you've been there. Yeah, and so yeah, I've been ramming them because. Huh?
last week they shut it down everybody, right? Did you get to speak last week?
I did. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Right. I think I did. Was it last week? Oh, wait, am I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got to speak.
Last week they had
Yeah, but they
disruption.
cleared everyone out. Yeah, but I think I got this. Did I get? I want to remind me. Something. Sometimes my memory could be. I could be thinking of the week before. Yeah, they did. I heard that, but I think that was after I spoke. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was after me. Yeah, like the person after me or something like that. Because my Mona, who also speaks up, if you hear Mona, she didn't get to speak because I think because they sent everybody out. Yeah, if you hear Mona,
There's another person.
yeah, she calls in a lot of these meetings, and we go to the neighborhood council. We're going everywhere because if Scientology at this point, like what can I do? You can't really, even though I hate what they do and would love to see them lose their tax exempt status. But right now, my concern is that they have some pool in the city to be able to break all these laws, including federal laws like ADA, stuff like they can just and no matter how much we've been pushing for 6 weeks, it continues. So that means they have some kind of sway or power. You know what I mean? There's some corruption going on somewhere. But then again, the mayor, she's been really buddy. She was seen in, she went to Scientology events in the past, and yeah, she did. And so Caruso called her out on that during the election, and she was trying to say no, distancing herself from that. But then at the Olympics, she's in France with freaking Tom Cruise, who's like the spokesperson for Scientology, and she's going to be doing an event, for Scientology with him, I mean, not for Scientology, but with him, for the Olympics. So why is she so buddy with Scientology, and then all of a sudden, like they're untouchable, like they can do safety violations. Oh, we told them about the crack. Oh, they're doing illegal. They're doing unpermitted construction with no permits. Nothing. No one comes. The ground is sinking. Oh, they put 100,000 gallons of water on an encampment, and the ground is sinking. Nothing.
All my years have you been talking about? 6 months?
No, yeah, I just got involved in November, but with this issue, like for the street, since June or May, probably May, because that's when it started. Because they violated, like they told me I couldn't go through, and the permit clearly says only vehicles are not permitted. You can't do pedestrians, and the police still enforced a lie. And so, like it's every single department so far. I can't find one that is. So I'm like, how much pull do they have? And it's called Safe Point because they're on all these. They probably are on the commission. We don't know. I mean, or they. I don't know if they're giving. I don't know what they're doing, and that's what I want to find out. What are they doing? But even if I just want to do it, I want that street to open up. I want. It leads to a hospital. You know what I mean? Like that street is a direct conduit to a hospital, and the community is getting really upset because like then all the traffic's diverted to their streets. It makes their streets more dangerous because people can't use that street for 4 months. So yeah, that's the background. Henri. Yeah, he's part of it too. He was there mostly for the water because what they did there was like a small encampment, and they Henri.
Henri?
Uh-huh.
No, something about Marini.
Henri Marini. I think that's his last name, but his first name's Henri.
Oh,
Yeah,
Henri.
Henri. Right. And so
When does he speak? He speak anything or no?
yeah, well right now. I think he's back in his home state, but he comes out here, because he's an engineer, and so he was calculating, checking out because they're doing illegal construction too, and he was documenting that, but also the water, like they had the sprinklers on. We're in a drought, right, and they had the sprinklers on for like days on end to harass this encampment, and he calculated it's probably over 100,000 gallons of water, and so he turned it into DWP, and they said, well, we can't tell you what we're doing because they're a special client. So no matter where you go,
Where is his home state?
where is he from? He's from back east somewhere. I know he's from back east, so he comes back and forth every now and then to take, yeah. So and then he does a lot from the back east there too, because he's following all this stuff. He's an engineer, so he also sees
So
how it's
he
sinking.
come here like every month?
Oh, no, I don't think every month. Maybe every
Several
couple of months.
several
Yeah.
times a year.
Yeah, and so but he noticed like he was starting to track that with all the water and all the weights of the planters, that the ground is sinking, and it is sinking. Like I can even tell in my chair, I almost fell out my chair. It's changing, and like again, they don't nothing like nothing. They're doing repairing the building, that cracked building, without permits on their own, no permits, nothing. Like everything we brought up that they're doing wrong and illegal on the street, like forget about the religion part, okay? Forget about all that. Just what they're doing with the city entities and what matters to the neighborhood. They, like nobody's. It's all on deaf ears. Police, fire, city, commission. I mean the commissions, the city council, and public works. So how do they have that much power? You know, like how no one else would get away with any of that. So there's, let's see, they've been for since the 50s, been working their way into the government and influencing the government.